there guys, Bilabo10000 here, bringing you another video. Today, we will be continuing my Smash Bros. Ultimate series, where we rate the chances of various potential newcomers in the upcoming Smash game. If you haven't seen the first episode in the series and you're just jumping in right now, click the card in the top right corner and check the first episode where I go over the format of these videos and rate Springman, Rex and Pyra, King K. Rool, Elma, and Isaac. Today, we'll be looking at 5 requests from last video's YouTube comments who I think would be interesting to discuss, as well as one extra that I wanted to cover. The 5 characters in today's video are Decidueye from Pokemon Sun and Moon, Bandana Dee from the Kirby franchise, Kamek from primarily the Yoshi franchise, Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia, and Ashley from the WarioWare franchise. Without further ado, let's begin, and be sure to share your own thoughts and ratings of these characters in the comments below. Pokemon is a tough series to discuss when it comes to Smash Bros. Because while we always get a new Pokemon rep, Pichu and Mewtwo in Melee, Pokemon Trainer and Lucario in Brawl, Greninja in Smash 4, it begs the question, will we get a new rep for Smash Ultimate that follows the pattern? And if so, who? Personally, I think Decidueye has the strongest chance out of any Alolan Pokemon to make it into the base roster, and here's why. We learned during Smash 4's development that Greninja was chosen almost a year in advance of X and Y being released due to his concept art inspiring Sakurai to create a moveset. Pokemon is the only franchise so far to have the ability to add a rep before that rep's debut game comes out, and what's to say that it didn't happen again? Generation 7 came out at the end of 2016, and Sakurai could easily have gotten concept art from the Generation 7 Pokemon to select a newcomer. When looking at newcomers, chances are the starters and any real standout Pokemon will get the focus from Sakurai. But the downside to adding a Pokemon this early in development is that Sakurai will only have concept art and details from the Pokemon team to go off of. There's no way to know which Pokemon will be popular post-launch, aside from just a few musings from the team themselves. So the safest bet is to go with a starter. That's why I feel Mimikyu and Lycanroc don't have a shot at being the playable rep. The latter for a fairly bland concept art that doesn't inspire a moveset, while the former's big gimmick as far as branding goes is looking like Pikachu, and that may not go down well in a game where we already have Pikachu, Pichu, and Alolan Raichu as a Pokeball Pokemon. And out of the 3 starters, we've never had a final form of a grass starter in the game before. We've had Charizard and Greninja representing their types, and it would make sense to have Decidueye representing a fully evolved grass-type Pokemon, unlike Ivysaur who was only a second stage. As such, I rate Decidueye with a chance score of 50%, as we can't be sure that a Generation 7 Pokemon is even on the table here. They may choose to ignore Generation 7 as far as playable Pokemon go, hence why I'm not going above 50%. Decidueye's only threats are Mimikyu on the off chance Sakurai decides we need 3 Pikachu-looking characters and a Pokeball Pokemon, and Incineroar as the final form Fire-type starter is a literal wrestler, and I'll be covering them both in videos of their own when I can. As far as my want score, I give Decidueye an 80%. I really love the Ghost Archer motif, and I absolutely love this bird's design. I'd like to see what Decidueye can do. One of the most popular requests that I see in my Smash circles, it seems that everybody wants to see Bandana Dee take his spear and start fighting in Smash Bros. From the Kirby franchise, for background info, he's basically your player 4 in most of the main Kirby games following Return to Dreamland, and ever since he's held a prominent role in all mainline Kirby games to the point that he is considered one of the series' protagonists. We've not got a spear user in Smash Bros. Yet, and Bandana Dee could be the perfect character to rep that new weapon type. He's already got a built-in moveset from the Kirby games from how he's playable and controlled by the player in Return to Dreamland. But there are 2 factors that we need to address before considering his score. Firstly, Sakurai himself. He has worked on the Kirby franchise himself, but many fans have noted that Sakurai hasn't created any stages or references to modern Kirby in Smash Bros. Sakurai has been focused on the titles that he created, and many are citing this as a reason for Bandana Dee to not get in. Bias. But what people don't know is that Bandana Dee, before he was playable, had little cameo appearances in Kirby Superstar and Superstar Ultra, which Sakurai did work on. So Sakurai technically did create the character. Secondly, people are concerned that Bandana Dee is just a Waddle Dee with a spear. Personally, I think it's a silly argument. Yeah, we've never had a Smash character that was just a mook before, but that's not to say there isn't a first time for everything. Bandana Waddle Dee has shown how he differentiates himself from other Waddle Dees in his series through his appearances, and has more than enough material to make him stand out as a character in his own right. And on top of this, going into conspiracy territory here, one of his only appearances in Superstar Ultra is during the masked DDD fight, where he's the only person cheering on the fight between King DDD and Kirby. The same fight that DDD's new Final Smash is based off of. But if that's the case, why is Waddle Dee not in the audience of that Final Smash? Sakurai has shown an attention to detail in everything Smash related, so leaving out a detail that no doubt would be appreciated by fans is a little suspicious. As such, I give Bandana Waddle Dee a 70% chance of appearing. I think he's one of the safest bets of the whole potential newcomer roster, and I will be actually shocked if he isn't added, at least as an assist trophy at minimum. And as for a want score, I give Bandana Waddle Dee an 80%. I want to see a fun spear user in Smash, and I actually really like the minimalist design of his character, and would love to see the return to Dreamland Quartet all in Smash battling together. Kamek is a character who, like our previous Bandana Waddle Dee, represents his entire species, the Magic Koopas. He's primarily known for his villainous role in the Yoshi games and his brief appearances in the main Mario series, and he's being judged today because I honestly couldn't think of any other Yoshi characters to sink my teeth into. The only other notable character being Poochie, who, let's be real, would probably work better as an assist trophy. Kamek would be a mage character with great air abilities, in my opinion, if he were added into the game, as he's always flying around in the Yoshi games and doesn't seem to land on the ground much. He could use a different style of magic compared to Robin and bring a more unique twist to the mage formula, but honestly, I really don't think Kamek will get into Ultimate. I'm gonna rate Kamek's chances at 3%, as writing this segment, I'm finding it difficult to come up with an actual argument for him aside from, "We need more Yoshi representation." And if we're gonna get something Yoshi related, Boshi from Super Mario RPG is 100% a much better choice, and I'm sticking to that even though it's never gonna happen. And piggybacking off of those sentiments, I think it's very clear that Kamek gets a low want score of 5%. I wouldn't despise him for getting on the roster, but I wouldn't play him much unless he was really interesting, though if he did have an alt costume of Kammy Koopa, I may be inclined to perhaps reconsider this Magic Koopa boy. But until then, Kamek gets a very short segment for a very short idea. Now here's a name that not everybody's going to know. Lloyd Irving is the protagonist of Tales of Symphonia, a game that released on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Steam, and Nintendo GameCube. He's a third-party character who is owned by Bandai Namco and could represent the Tales series as a whole if added to Smash, which has had many releases on the Nintendo platforms. I'm not familiar with his game or a potential moveset, but I can make a case for why he would be accepted into Smash. Let's start with the obvious. In Smash 4, he received a Mii costume during the DLC era, along with King K. Rool, Tails, Proto Man, and Ashley, alongside other popular characters. Many believe that these costumes were direct influences from the ballot and could mean two things. One, they were popular picks, but not enough to really get anything more than a costume. Or two, they were popular picks and are being hyped up for potential playability in future titles. Either way, Lloyd Irving has been noticed by Sakurai, and that's more than some other characters can say. The other elephant in the room is that he is owned by Bandai Namco, who are working on the Smash games with Sakurai. They are the developers of Smash 4 and now Smash 5, which means that if they want to get a second person playable aside from Pac-Man from their library of characters, they could easily get Lloyd a comfortable spot in the roster. As such, I'll give Lloyd a 20% chance, as third parties are currently an unknown in this current speculation cycle. We don't know whether the rest of the newcomers will be primarily Nintendo or primarily third party, but I can bet that if we're getting more third party characters, they will be from companies who already have their foot in the door with a character, as Sakurai recently released a column in Famitsu explaining how difficult and risky it was having to get all these current third parties on board with lending their characters to Smash again. However, and I'm very sorry to say this to all Lloyd fans, I'm going to have to give Lloyd a low 5% want score, because he's a JRPG protagonist, and my most wanted character, Isaac, is also a JRPG protagonist. They fit the same niche, and while their movesets would be different, I fear that Sakurai would only pick one over the other if he had the choice, and I'd personally rather see Isaac over Lloyd. Most of you watching this video probably don't know who Ashley from the WarioWare franchise is, and that's okay, because I don't expect everyone to know who she is or why she'd get into Smash. So let me break down the situation. Ashley is a young, Lolita, kinda goth, super cute, kawaii girl. So naturally, Japan absolutely loves her. She had transcended her own series of WarioWare to become an advertising icon in Japan, advertising other games. She's got tons of merchandise and is one of the most popular potential newcomers in Japan. So her chance score, in my opinion, is 70%. It is high. She has a great shot of being added, and mainly it will be due to Eastern demand, because the West got Ridley and Little Mac through simply fan demand, which Sakurai has stated is the case for both of the characters. And Smash is about appealing to every region, not just Europe or America, so Japan has yet to get a character that represents their fan demand alone, and this is why I feel Ashley is just a shoo-in. Her popularity is insane, and need I remind you that she was an assist trophy in 4 and received a Mii costume. She has a variety of different moves that she could pull from the WarioWare franchise as a whole to create an interesting witch-based moveset, and could be a more inspired traditional mage compared to Robin or Kamek. And I will bring up the elephant, her assist trophy from Smash 4 hasn't been seen yet in Smash Ultimate. This doesn't mean much as there are still tons of assists missing in action at the moment, but I wanted to just note that down so that people are aware. And honestly, I like Ashley. I'll give her a solid 40% want score, as she's not someone who I jump to play instantly, but I like her design and I think that she's pretty interesting and could have a fun moveset, and I really want to see her fans happy. And that's another 5 newcomers rated. Next week I'll be tackling the scourge known as Echo Fighters. If you have any suggestions for Echo Fighter characters that you want to see me research and rate, leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!